Hey guys, welcome back. Scott here with a new beer dissection video. What I have today is from Bell's Brewery. Should not be unfamiliar to most of you involved in craft beer. I want to say Bell's is still craft beer. If they got bought out and I missed it, I apologize. But it's their Big Hearted IPA. Pretty cool looking fish can here. Looks like there's some salmon on here. Pretty nice there. You may be more familiar with the classic Bell's Two Hearted, and that is an American IPA. It uses a lot of Centennial hops. But just so you don't get confused, there's a Bell's Double Hearted, which is kind of a 11% amped up Bell's Two Hearted American IPA. Again, remember they use a lot of Centennial hops, which is a Pacific Northwest hop. You know, sometimes they'll give you some grapefruit, citrus, piney. I haven't had those in a while, but I want to make sure there's a difference between that one and then, which is a Double Hearted, and this is their Big Hearted IPA. Okay, this one uses multiple hop additions from different hop varietals. It's coming in at 9.5% alcohol, so I'll definitely need a nap after I do a review on this one. It's their Imperial IPA. They don't give me too much more on the date. I love when they, being a beer geek and a home brewer, I love it when they give me the actual hops that they're using, but I understand sometimes they don't want to give you too much information for the copycats out there. But again, there's the Bell's Two Hearted, there's the Double Hearted, and this is called the Big Hearted IPA. So they're three different beers, technically, even though I'm sure they're all IPAs and varying degrees of alcoholic percentage. Like this is 9.5. I think the Bell's Two Hearted is somewhere around, I want to say 6 or 7%. Don't mark my words on there. I think I did review that one on my channel. So if you are interested in Bell's beers, look under my beer dissections section here. So this one again, Imperial IPA, Big Hearted IPA from Bell's, 9.5%. I'm sure I'll have pictures over my shoulders like I usually do. Okay, so I just got a typical tulip glass here. Just kind of pour it out here, get maybe a third of a glass full. Okay, let's take a look at this. I didn't pour it that aggressively. I got about a little under an inch of pretty white head, maybe slightly off white, pushing a little more towards Manila. There's a nice, I call it the crema effect, like you kind of get that crema effect on espresso, as well as like that Cool Whip effect. The bubbles are pretty tight, looks pretty nice. Looks pretty good. I'm kind of even getting kind of a boozy or aromatics just from the 2 seconds of having this thing open. Let's take a look at this. We kind of got I'm going to call it, medium amber color. If you want to say like a darker gold, light to medium amber color, pretty hazy. Not as hazy as our Juicies and our New England IPAs, but there is definitely some haze. It could be some chill haze. Remember, we are using copious amounts of hops. So you get the polyphenols from the hops, hop matter sometimes. This one, I don't know the grist on this, to be honest with you. They're not really forthcoming on there, but they could possibly use some oats and maybe unmalted wheat or malted wheat to kind of have some of the protein content in there to try to create some of the haze. This one just maybe from the hops solely, okay? But, pretty looking beer, a little chill haze, but again, nothing too big. I don't believe it's going to be a West Coast IPA, but it does look a little bit more kind of American West Coast IPA, but we don't usually classify IPAs strictly on color, especially when you start talking about West Coast versus American IPA. Hazy Juicies, you do, expect almost that chewiness and the opaqueness to it. But anyway, let's take a sniff of the aroma on this one. Oh, okay, so you got kind of like a citrus, almost like tangerine, clementine peel, little pithy. Maybe get a little tropical fruit, or maybe more like stone fruit, kind of like a little bit of a peach background on there. Mango, but really nice. So again, like the citrus is kind of tangerine, orange-like, maybe even like, it's not smacking in the face like maybe orange, but maybe moving more like an apricot. And but there is a little bit notes of kind of like either stone fruit, like peach. Again, we don't smell alcohol. Like, well, I shouldn't say that. We do, so when you're smelling gin and vodka and stuff like that, you kind of get an alcohol effect. We perceive it more, obviously, on our taste buds, if there's any burning effect. But this is almost smelling like I know it's going to be strong. Okay, it has that kind of Venus wine-like kind of nose on it. Okay, malt on the nose, kind of medium toast, bread crust. Maybe like a graham cracker on there. But anyway, guys, cheers. Let's take a sip of this. Wow. Actually, I thought it was going to be a little more carbonated. It's actually ideal right now. Probably a little colder than I would like it. That's my fault. You still get kind of that stone fruit, peach, apricot, tangerine, if you have that orange notes to it, with the citrus orange notes. Get a little pine. Maybe like kind of get that like resiny, piney, kind of typical for a Pacific Northwest hop, which again, Two Hearted I know uses Centennial. This one I don't know for certain. I think they may be using Centennial and other hops with it. I think that's the only thing I kind of saw a quick blurb about it. There is some alcoholic warmth though. Kind of get it through my chest, which, excuse me, if you watch my videos, around 7.5, 8 is for me. I start a lot of on beers, start perceiving that kind of warmth. This is at 11, what did I say, 11%, 9.5%. So we're far within the range of me starting to get that alcoholic warmth, which I don't particularly like. I don't mind a little burn, but like it's just, this one's kind of singeing me here right now. Malt on this. Again, similar to the aromatics. Medium toast, bread crusty, even like graham cracker. It's kind of drinking a little bit more like a West Coast IPA because I am getting that pine now that I'm perceiving a little bit more as this beer is warming up. It's good. I mean, I kind of get that citrus again. I may revisit even off camera. There's a little bit of a grapefruit to it. So that citrus is probably like a tangerine, clementine. If you wanted to throw in a touch of grapefruit, I wouldn't argue with anyone on that. The bitterness is pretty assertive. The body is kind of medium full. Like I said, the carbonation, actually, let me go again. It's a little bit lower. It's kind of medium high. So you're not getting it like a Belgian style beer. Aftertaste, you're kind of left with that pithy tangerine, apricot, maybe a slight like stone fruit, like peach. Pretty good. I wish, I'd have to do side-by-sides on all these beers. I know some of you, when you chime in under the comments under YouTube, like, oh, how does it compare to this and that, which is great. Keep the questions coming. I would almost have to have all the beers and then the style and to compare it to. So how would I compare this to the Bell's Two Hearted? I got to think I'm enjoying that Bell's Two Hearted, the traditional one. Roughly, I think it's 6%, maybe even 7%. A little bit more, only because I'm not really a huge fan of the alcoholic warmth that I get when it's a little too intense. And this one's giving me that right now. But as far as the overall flavor, with your citrus, tangerine, apricot, little peach, graham cracker, it's pretty nice. So, listen, grading-wise here, again, we have the Bell's Big Hearted IPA, 9.5% alcohol bomb here. Grade-wise, I'm going to give it a B. I think it's a solid beer. If I had this or I had a 12-pack of it, I would enjoy having my refrigerator, guests come over, things like that. Definitely over the most of the Voodoo Rangers. Juice Force, for example, Juice Force is like 9.5%. Excuse me, IPA. I enjoy this more than the Juice Force or the Fruit Force. Voodoo Ranger, definitely. So I'm not doing a side-by-side beer face-off video, but I would definitely go with this over the Voodoo Rangers, Juice Force, Fruit Force IPAs that are sitting close to the same alcoholic strength. But anyway, so be beer. I have to bring it down a little bit more if I was comparing it to some of the local craft guys, Equilibrium, Hill Farmstead, Treehouse, Trillium, things like that. I got to bring it down a little further, but a good solid B. Anyway, guys, today's beer dissection hopefully got a little bit about the Bell's brand, at least 2 or 3 of the beers. So when you're, shopping for it, remember Bell's Two Hearted is like their flagship beer. The Double Hearted is an amped up Two Hearted, and this is their Big Hearted, okay, which is not using the Centennial hop. Supposedly, they're using, I think, a mixture of different hops as for bittering, flavor, and aroma. And I think the whole grist bill, remember the grist is the grain bill for the beer is different than the Bell's Two Hearted. So just so you know a little bit about that and a little bit about this beer in particular. So good B, guys. All right, so the next beer dissection beer video. Have a great day, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.